Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Nerd News. This week we're going to cover topics ranging from a first look at Miss Marvel to some amazing news about the future of Invincible to Luke Skywalker's severed hand. All right, let's get weird. Hey, welcome to Nerd News. I'm your host, Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd. We're going to talk about some of the nerd news that happened over the last week. Leading off the news, we have the first official trailer for Sweet Tooth coming from Netflix. Sweet Tooth is a classic graphic novel that was told by Jeff Lemire, who's a fantastic graphic novel writer. You definitely should check him out. Sweet Tooth is coming to Netflix, and people are starting to get really excited about this story. The trailer looked really fun. I can't wait to check it out. Luckily, fans don't have too long to wait, as all episodes will start streaming on June 4th. There's going to be 8 episodes for the first season, and fans are super excited for this one to make its premiere. All right, let's get to the weirdest news of the week. Luke Skywalker's severed hand is trending. Yeah, I know, that's really a true headline. So in Star Wars Darth Vader 11, we get a look at what the fate of Luke's severed hand was. And remember, these new Marvel comics are canon to the greater Star Wars timeline. So we know that Luke's severed hand ended up on Exegol. Exegol is the planet that you might remember from The Rise of Skywalker, which was a movie that came out that people had feelings about, but it definitely featured Exegol, and we knew that that was where Palpatine was cloning and raising his secret massive fleet that nobody had ever heard of until now. And come to find out, he'd had Luke's severed hand there. Speculation has already begun to fly about what this could mean. A lot of people are pointing to this could be where the midichlorians for Snoke came from, to create the clones of Snoke and the Palpatine clones, which would be very interesting. There are even theories that tie this to Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Mandalorian. People are wondering if Grand Admiral Thrawn will be connected to Luke Skywalker's severed hand, just like he was in Star Wars Legends back in the final novel of the Timothy Zahn trilogy. Star Wars lore fanatics will remember that Timothy Zahn connected Grand Admiral Thrawn with Luke's severed hand back in his final novel of the Heir to the Empire trilogy, The Last Command. In that novel, Thrawn used that severed hand's DNA to create a Dark Jedi clone who was a crazy bastard. And that clone created a clone of Luke Skywalker named Luke Skywalker. Luke! Yeah, it's a little eye-rolly, an otherwise great trilogy written by Timothy Zahn, but we will possibly see some connections to Thrawn through this severed hand, which is pretty interesting. So it is fascinating to see that that's where Luke's severed hand ends up, and it does lead you to wonder, how did Maz get Luke's lightsaber? Because you would think that they would have ended up in roughly the same place, right? So it's possible that this will even connect to more backstory for the Skywalker lightsaber, as they're calling it these days. But yeah, basically Luke's father's lightsaber. So really interesting news. And hopefully we'll learn more about the future of Luke's severed hand. I'm sorry, I can't say that with a straight face. That's just too funny. But what a great little bit of lore to get from the original trilogy, kind of wrapping up a loose end right in time for May the 4th. This is awesome. In TV news, we do know that Stargirl Season 2 has set a premiere date. That's right, the hit show will be returning on August 10th of this year to showcase new villains. We know that Eclipso is coming, which is pretty cool. And we also know that John Wesley Shipp is actually going to return to TV to play the Flash, which is super awesome. I loved him in that role, and a lot of other people did too. I have to admit, when I first started watching Stargirl, I kind of thought it was going to be another CW show, which I was getting a little tired of at that point. And it definitely has some of that feel, but it elevated itself above that. It was really cool to see like Solomon Grundy running around, just some pretty neat stuff. They did a really good job on the Stargirl powers and using her staff and everything. I certainly enjoyed parts of season 1. And I think, like, for example, Luke Wilson did a really great job in that show. So I'm actually excited to tune in for season 2. We'll see if it loses any of its quality. So Invincible season 1 just wrapped up on a massive, not really a cliffhanger, I suppose, but just a massive spoiler-filled topic that I won't share here, but a fantastic end of the season. So the end of Invincible season 1 definitely left fans clamoring for more. And good news, they're going to get more, because we have learned that not only has Invincible been renewed for season 2, it's also been renewed for season 3. So we're going to get 2 more seasons for sure of the Amazon show, and I can't wait. Even as a fan of the comics, I have to admit the show is just hitting it on all cylinders. I'm so glad they did an animated adaptation for the show, because all of the action, all of the violence can just be captured a little bit easier in animation than it could be in live action. And this star-studded voice cast is just killing it. I've been watching it with my wife. We both love it. We give it 2 thumbs up, and we can't wait for season 2 and now for season 3. All right, let's keep the TV show news rolling right on. We got our very first look at Miss Marvel. That's right, Kamala Khan in costume on the set of Miss Marvel, which is coming to Disney Plus supposedly later this year. There's not really much else to go on here other than it's just really exciting. This is a very popular major Marvel character that is coming to the MCU, and we just got our first look, so that's always exciting. Costume actually looks pretty good. This costume could go a little oversimplistic, and I think they did it justice. They made it look like a real costume for the MCU style of characters, and I'm really excited to see where this show goes. It was an interesting comic book, and I really enjoyed the stories, so I can't wait to see it get adapted into the MCU. All right, everybody, thanks for watching another episode of Nerd News. I just want to thank everybody for watching, and if you are interested in supporting the channel, you can go to my Ko-fi to do that. If you stay tuned this week, tomorrow I'll be dropping my next episode of Bronze Buys, where I go over all my pickups from the last week. And then on Wednesday, I'm dropping my first video in a new series where, by popular demand, I cover spec picks. And I'm going to cover the spec picks for G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, one of my favorite comic series, and give you some books to look out for as you're hunting in comic shops and through eBay and other online sources. So definitely check that video out. I'm really excited to start that series. Tune in again next week for another episode, and until then, I just want to remind you, hey, read comics every day.